Hello, everybody. I'm Honey Novick. This is the premiere of a poetry podcast. Hopefully, it won't be just poetry per se, but the whole cultural aspect of our community, the whole creative idea behind whatever it is that results in poetry, creativity, whatever. This podcast is called How Does It Feel? If that's a line that's familiar to you, it should be. It comes from a song by Bob Dylan. And I dedicated a whole book to Bob Dylan, my rabbi. How does it feel? Because that one line when I was 16 years old changed my whole life. One line. Nobody ever asked me, how does it feel? Nobody cared how I felt. I was told what to feel, what to expect, what my roads in life would be. And then when I started to say no, I was deemed a rebel and all kinds of things. And I became a kind of warrior, a cultural warrior. As you can see, there's the Bob Dylan book. This is a lovely book that's completely handmade by the late Luciano Iacobelli. And it's all put together with old books. And this is a lovely magazine from Hamilton. I have poetry in each and every one of them. I didn't want to only read poetry. I wanted to share also. I write songs because songs are poems. Oh, yes. And this was New Songs for Peace. It is in the educational department of the United Nations, at least UNESCO, because all my songs, all my poems have to do with hope and resilience. And that has to do with peace. Now, for those of you who know old jazz, the name Cab Calloway would mean everything to you. So somebody compiled a little dictionary of jive language. I think Cab Calloway did it. Yeah, he did it. A whole dictionary of jive. A jam is improvised swing music. A dime note is a $10 bill. A doghouse is a bass fiddle. So I like to bring these kinds of things into schools so that kids can have some kind of alternative to the way they think. As we speak, today is the day that our member of provincial parliament, Jill Andrew, is nominating me for Poet Laureate for the province of Ontario. It's a dream I never would have dreamt because that's just not the way I dream. And so I hope you can share my excitement. One of the things I wanted to share with you is a current song poem called Stop Shitting on Yourself. Did you hear that correctly? So this is the way I like to do it. Stop shitting on yourself, all over yourself. You could have done the dishes. You could have fed the fishes. You could have made more wishes. You could have and you should have, but if you would have, then you wouldn't have said hello to the lovely old man. You wouldn't be smiling at the moving van. You wouldn't be running to greet the day. Stop shooting all over yourself. But now it's my pleasure and privilege to have you meet slowly Ainsworth Andrew Slowly, who's the producer, the creator, the actual brilliant mind who saw me somewhere and invited me to do this. He's the one that really is the instigator, the visionary, and the person responsible for you, if you're still listening to me, for what is going on. So, Slowly.
Oh, wow. Wow, honey, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I never had an intro like that.
Really?
I don't think I get many intros, but that's amazing. As for the producer and stuff, this is just natural. I saw your talent in I met Honey through one of our programs, our digital literacy program, where she's excelling, and this is just more of the digital side of what we've been teaching. So this is a little bit advanced to be doing podcasts, but Honey seems like she has a good look on everything so far in terms of the presentation, in terms of just being in front of a camera. So she has some secrets there for sure. So yeah, so we're just starting a thing. Just Honey and I are starting a show. She's gonna have many guests. I'm gonna be behind the scenes doing a lot of the switching and camera and editing. So we're gonna broadcast this to a lot of seniors, demographics, open, poets, musicians, historians, because this show is gonna it's gonna have a lot of those things involved. And don't let Henny fool you. She is gonna be the curator of everything that's happening on this show.
I'd like to start with once a month.
Once a month.
There are wonderful artists in this neighborhood, not only poets, but painters whose work is like poetry.
Mhm.
I would like to see everybody have a kind of platform.
Oh, nice. I love what you're trying to do. It's very community based. And if you'd like to join in and help push and promote what we're doing, it's very positive. And if you have ideas on how you could be a part of the show, please email us. But I do appreciate being the first guest on this program. I do appreciate that. And I'm excited about it. We got bigger plans, because there's some platforms that this is going to be added to. That's going to be like resources and things that you could learn from and things you could hear just from the conversations and what's being delivered here.
I haven't heard this part before, but I have to tell you that I trust slowly. Anybody who feels that I should have a podcast is fine with me. So as long as I'm allowed to do the artistic end of it, I'm cool with that. And as long as you want to take care of all that other stuff,
yes,
I'm cool with that
we'll
too.
get volunteers and to help promote this seniors digital literacy program that we have, and just take it to heights and have different things that we could do within it. And so one of them is, because we have the equipment and because we do this as a regular, why not open it up to to other people as well? We want to be inclusive in what we do.
Yes.
And so this is part of it.
Yes. And I think, in the world that we're currently living in, to be inclusive, to me, is the first step toward a world that is less on fire, in my opinion.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Less on fire, because the world is on fire. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions, even though I'm not the one supposed to be asking.
Oh, please do.
I'm asking you about the one of the examples that you had brought up, which was thought was really cool, and some of my friends would really think that was cool, is the jive.
Oh, the Cab Calloway jive?
Yeah, the Cab Calloway. So Cab Calloway was what? It was he the hit guy? Was he the trendsetter, as somebody would know now, to be setting these vibes, these words? Was he?
Do you know the name Cab Calloway?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I have a little history.
No, I know you do. No, you're deep. No, you're deep.
I have a little. Was he the hit guy at the time? Was he the dude?
Know.
Was he the trendsetter?
I was a little girl.
But still, to be the person that sets apart the language, and everybody has to understand these codes. Usually they're like now they'll be called trendsetters, influencers that are setting the trend that everybody's, the new lingo, the new term. And some of those terms still exist. If you want to one of them, you said the dime worth.
Oh yeah.
Something of that.
Yeah, and solid. I named my first LP Solid, which means great, swell, okay.
So he was using those terms, solid. Was those new terms to you?
In the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, was those terms new to you when you heard those terms, solid? Or just the meaning of what it is?
No, solid was. But Cab Calloway wasn't, because when I was little, he was on Betty Boop, and I was a huge Betty Boop fan. And he's the one that brought to the world Minnie the Moocher. Folks, here's the story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down hoochie coocher. You know what that means, a hoochie coocher.
They use those terms now.
Yeah.
But it may be a little bit, maybe I'm like old school. But they use, what was the term you just said?
Hoochie coochie?
Hoochie
coocher, yeah.
Hoochie coocher.
Yeah,
oh, now they kind of
like to get money from men.
Yeah. Is that what they were called?
Yeah,
oh, man.
Not very complimentary.
Oh, wow. I can definitely get some lingo from there.
Oh yeah, like beat up the chops, which is what we're doing, which is to talk,
Beat up the
converse.
chops is what. Oh
Yeah,
wow, wow. So
yeah,
this is Cabs Calloway's Jive Dictionary.
yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. Cups means sleep.
Okay, cups.
Cups. Yeah.
Get some cups. And also in some of the stuff that you've brought, I noticed you said you've worked in the library, and so it's very unique that you say that. And so you're one of the authors.
Yes, poet in the
Explain that.
library.
Oh,
So because I have all these, books that
uh-huh.
I've had the privilege of writing,
So what is that? Like, wow,
my
that's
these are all my poetry books.
oh wow,
Every single one of them.
wow.
Yeah, this one is really interesting. I
And
did.
those are all your original
Oh yeah, yeah,
poetry.
yeah, yeah, everything.
Mhm.
This one, I'm mad, I matter, making a difference, is the complete story of the Friendly Spike Theater Band, which is a whole theater of people who have lived experience. So it could be a kind of stale story,
Mhm.
except I wrote it from the viewpoint of two dogs. These are all poems.
Mhm.
This is just a Xerox copy of a book that I wrote in tribute to Sal Mineo, who was an Academy Award nominated actor from Rebel Without a Cause. It's a story. It's a real
Wow.
story. It's a real story. My family are. I'm Canadian. I'm born on Yorkville Avenue here in Toronto, but my family immigrated, settled here from Palestine, Israel. And when I was 11, my mother decided to visit her sister, who she hadn't seen in 36 years. My father stayed here. Off we went to Israel. It was 1960. So we get there, and this movie called Exodus is being filmed on my uncle's property. And I heard Sal Mineo, and I knew who he was.
Mhm.
And my uncle wouldn't let me go to the lot, not because Sal was a movie star or anything like that, but because Sal was Italian. And I'm from Toronto. That's it's beyond my thinking, even at 11 years old. And so it did something to me. When I came back, well, when I turned 16, or no, just when I was 16, just before I turned 17, I read in the newspaper that Sal Mineo was coming to the Royal Alexandra to be in a play.
Wow.
So I said to my best friend, I'm playing hooky from high school.
Mhm.
I'm going to find him, which I did. I phoned all the hotels.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah. And I found him at the Royal York. I asked the receptionist if she could put me through, and she said, well, we have a Mr. Salvatore Mineo from New York. I said, that's the one. And he comes on the line, and I'm shaking. I'm 16 years old. And I said, Mr. Mineo, my name is Honey Novick. Part of Exodus was filmed on my uncle's property in Israel. And so, he was on the line, and we kept talking a little bit.
Mhm.
And I said, I'd really like to come and meet you. And he said, no, I just did a film based on Gene Krupa. Gene Krupa was found in his hotel room with underage girls.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so it affected his career and his life. So, and Sal got the job of playing Gene Krupa in a film. And he said, no, I couldn't come. I'm underage. Oh, man. No, this was not going to happen. So I kept him talking. And then finally I said, because I knew he was getting, restless and bored. And finally I just said, Mr. Mineo, tomorrow is my birthday and next week is yours. Can't we at least spend our birthdays together? And he said, okay. So I played hooky again the next day, and so did my best friend. And off we went to some Larry's Hideaway, which is no longer in existence in Toronto. We met for breakfast. He had his agent. I
Yeah.
had my best friend.
Mhm.
And we met, and he was fascinated by
Wow.
us.
Wow. So what is the real reason why, let's go back, him being Italian, and
Because the prejudice.
it was just that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
okay,
a young Jewish girl doesn't set her eyes on, on anybody other than her own tribe. It was beyond anything I could imagine.
okay. And how did you figure that out? That
Oh,
it
no,
was
they're very open.
okay.
No, I mean, they're straight, very direct. And it's not like it was directed at me. It was
Right.
us directing it at somebody else, which was even crazier.
It doesn't matter the status. It just that's it. Once they
You
are
know?
that's who they are.
Yeah, it's the other.
Right.
I'd never thought in terms, I mean, I'm 11. I
Right.
never thought in terms of the other.
That's some good things. That's some good things you're sharing. Wow, and this is just the first one of many series that you'll speak of. So there's potential for everything.
How does it feel? What is it?
How does it feel?
There you go.
So yes, I'm the person that's allowing everybody to make their shows and create this, and have Honey be the lead of her own show and her production, because we will have a channel, CrueTV, and all these educational podcasts and historian podcasts and all the things that you're bringing forth will be there.
So thank you for this. I think we're done, aren't we? Done?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah,
we're
we're
done. It's up to
done.
you. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for whoever is watching, tuning in, finding us. So I'm Honey Novick. This podcast is called How Does It Feel? And of course, you're welcome to contact us, and hope to see you again. Hope to meet you perhaps one day.
Thank you so much for having me as your opening guest. Thank you.
Pleasure. Fun.
Oh, that
Isn't
was
it
good.
fun?